take me back to, I guess, the day of the accident. Did you find out the day of?
Yeah.
About this tragedy?
Sorry.
Sorry, it's okay.
We actually found out while it was still going on and they were trying to get the flames out of the truck. So that was really hard. Didn't even hit us. It still kind of hasn't. But I want to say it really hit us when we actually went to where it happened. So we got a phone call from Derek's mom, he's technically my husband. And she called us and she couldn't even speak. And so we were just waiting and waiting to hear what she had to say. And when she told us, it was unreal. So.
Were you close with Stephen?
Yeah, for 6 years of my relationship with Derek, we actually all lived in the same house. So every single day we were together. I mean, that's just what we did. A lot of times Misty would stay home with the kids, and me, Derek, and Stephen, we'd go out and do tons of adventures and stuff. He was down to do everything, no matter what it was, even if it was going to the grocery store or going shooting guns or going wheeling in the trucks. That's just something that he really loved and enjoyed. So it was nice that he was just willing to do everything with everyone. So
I was going to ask about that. You kind of alluded to it a little bit. What did he like? What did he love to do?
He loved shooting guns. That's something that we always did, even after his divorce with Misty. Every time we went to Green River, we always made sure we still saw Stephen and did stuff with him, because him and my husband were best friends. He loved riding his bullet bike, dirt bikes. When I came into the picture, his dirt bike was broken, so there wasn't a lot of dirt bike riding then. But I know that when he was younger, his grandpa put him through a lot of dirt bike races. He even had a poster of him, I believe it was of him on his dirt bike, and he was so proud of that. I remember him bragging about it when I first came around. So
it seems like he liked the stuff to pump the adrenaline.
Yeah, like going up G Hill. Yeah. So he really loved I feel like you could tell him, hey, we're going to jump out of a plane, and he's like, let's go, so.
Right. Did he like to four-wheel?
Yeah, he loved four-wheeling, whether it was mainly trucks, but even if it was on four-wheelers, ATVs, all that stuff. But one of the main memories that we have together is just four-wheeling in Derek's Toyota and Sean's truck, and that's what you do in Green River, is you four-wheel everywhere, all over the hills and dirt roads. So
that's the thing to do, huh?
Yeah.
So when you found out that's how he passed away, is that kind of ironic, or was it, he was doing something that he loved? Is that kind of how's the family taken that?
Makes us happy that he was doing what he loved, and I'm assuming even Sean too, because Sean was from Green River. So I feel like they were doing what they loved, and I'm sure they didn't expect what happened to happen. Now I lost my train of thought. There was something I was going to say. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Remind me your question.
Yeah, I was just asking, does the family view it as almost kind of ironic that he passed tragically doing what he loved? I mean, you just mentioned he loved four-wheeling, and he was four-wheeling.
Yeah, so he really did love four-wheeling, and that's one thing that gives us some happiness, is that when he passed away and when Sean passed away, they were doing something that they loved. Something that is really devastating to us that will probably scar us forever is that if you knew Stephen, you knew that his biggest fear was burning to death, and so it's really hard to think that that's what happened to him. So.
So sorry about that. He leaves behind 3 children. Can you tell us how the children are doing today?
They're struggling. Kaysen is 12, Clayton is 10, Dawson's 5. And Kaysen's really been struggling because she'll never get to hear her dad's voice. She'll never get to tell him that she loves him again. I tried reminding her that you can still look up in the sky and let him know that she loves him and he'll hear her. Clayton, it's really sad. It didn't hit him until, I want to say, 2 days ago, and he really broke down. They've been really struggling. Dawson, he's had his moments, but yet with him being 5, it's kind of like he's not sure yet. I really think that probably Wednesday was the hardest day for the kids because that was the day that Stephen had the kids. And so every Wednesday, Stephen would come pick him up, and this Wednesday he wasn't there to pick him up. So,
what kind of void does he leave in that community?
Wow. I know that he leaves so much. Like, I mean, to kind of just talk about him and the type of person he was always willing to help people. No matter what it was, even if it put his life in danger, he was there to help people. He always loved making people laugh. He was a huge jokester. Like, every time he was around, you were laughing. There wasn't ever like a moment that you weren't. And so that's really hard because, like, I know that when we're going to be going through hard times in the future, he won't be there to be cracking jokes and making everyone laugh, even when it was at inappropriate times. Like, he still just did that. So
is everything about the kids now, though? Those kids?
Yeah, everything's focused on those kids. I do know that Green River, the community, the fire department, I believe even like the EMT department, everyone's coming together. There's even been some local small businesses that have been doing where like 50% of their sales, the proceeds go to the families, the children specifically. I know that May 13th, I believe, the community with the fire department and everyone will be doing like a raffle. They're going to be selling foods and doing like a huge community celebration of life type thing, and anything that's earned will be split between Sean and Stephen's families.
Yeah, so the kids, they'll be with mom then, I guess, permanently now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also talk to me a little bit about, he was a first responder himself, so he usually was the one going to crashes like this, incidents like this to help out.
Yeah. So knowing Stephen, Derek and I were talking about this last night actually, that it really doesn't surprise us that he became an EMS driver, because during like any emergencies or like panics, he was always the calmest one. Not when it came to like cop situations, he would freak out. Like, even if he wasn't guilty, you would think he was guilty because of how he acted. But when it came to like first responder stuff, we just picture him just being like almost the best one out there. Like, just because he's so like, when he's so calm, he's just straightforward and knows what to do right away, even if someone else is over here panicking and doesn't know what to do. So.
Yeah, and you were saying that, the people that maybe responded even knew him or knew of him. How much of an impact has this had on the community?
I think it's really a huge impact. I know that Green River Fire Department, the chief, he mentioned even that not only did they lose 2 really good, important people on their team, that it's even hard as a small community. You can't find people to take their place. Like, you only have so much help in small communities that you can get. And I think it's really hard at the fact that because it's a small community, when you're responding to these phone calls, it may be just people traveling or tourist people, but a lot of times you respond to calls and it's people that you know, whether they're your family or your friend or just someone you even know of because of how small the community is. So yeah, I mean, our family wants to thank the first responders that were there to respond to this phone call. Going back actually to that day, Stephen did call his wife after the truck rolled. and said that Sean was unresponsive and he needed a fire truck now because the truck was on fire. And then she heard an explosion, is what we've been told, and that was the end of the phone call. So.
What will you miss most about Stephen?
I think that I would miss most, mainly just having him around, but he really was good at jokes. Like, that's my favorite thing about Stephen, is he always made everyone laugh. And as well, his laugh was different. Like, I can't explain it to you, but I can hear it in my head. That, like, it was just one of those laughs that was contagious and whatnot. But mainly, I think that I'm going to miss him being there for even my kids, his niece and nephew, all his other niece and nephews, and his kids specifically the most. He was an amazing dad, an amazing uncle, an amazing brother. I mean, I'm even sure an amazing son. So yeah.
So sorry. All right, anything else you want to share? I appreciate you giving us a glimpse into his life and his legacy. Anything else that you want to share?
I don't know. I do have a funny story, but I don't know if you can share it.
Go ahead.
So Derek was telling me last night that one time him, Misty, and Steven, which is his ex-wife, they were at the store and they were waiting in the checkout line. And you know how you can just go up and like tap your phone to pay with Google Pay or whatever? Well, the thing beeps at you and you're done. Well, the first people in front of them just went along their way. Well, Steven went up and he had a flip phone and he was just like, beep. And the cash register was like, I'm sorry, sir, that didn't work. And so he did it again, and then the cash register like caught on and everyone just started laughing. That just shows how much of a smart aleck he was. So.
Oh, that's funny.
But,
seems like he loved life.
Yeah.
Loved everything about it.
I don't think I've ever seen Steven sad. I've maybe seen him mad, but
We all get mad.
yeah, everyone does.
Mckenzi, thanks again
Yeah.
for sharing a few thoughts. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.